Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Hey, difference maker. Welcome back to the Unbox Your Personality podcast. And we are doing this really cool series on different personality tools that you can use in your personal life and in your business. We're coming to the bite-sized deep dive that I am just so excited about doing because it has had such a huge impact on my life just in the last couple of months. So we're talking about human design. And I'm not going to lie, it is complicated, but it has taught me so much about myself and about my Enneagram type. Let's go ahead and get started. It's time to stop comparing yourself to others and plug into what is uniquely you. Welcome to Unbox Your Personality, the podcast for coaches, creatives, and educators like you who understand that your happiness makes you more effective at what you do, bringing out the best in others. I'm Jen P. Higgins, personality strategist and Enneagram fluff remover. Get laser focused on who you are and who you aren't, so you're free to make the impact you were born to make. And have fun doing it. Your personality is your business. So let's get down to business. So I don't know if you've heard about human design before. It was something that when I started getting certified for the Enneagram, people just, I'm a psychology geek, so people were bringing it up to me. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? It's so interesting. And I really wanted to be good and not go down a rabbit trail and really compartmentalize what I was studying at the time, which was the Enneagram. And I had invested a lot of money into getting certified. And so I didn't want to get sidetracked and then regret going down the path that I was going. Fast forward several years later, it has come up again. One of my clients is like, oh my gosh, human design is so interesting. You really should look into it. You would love it. You would love it, Jen. And so I asked Kristen Smith, our last guest expert on the podcast, to teach me a little bit about human design. And she was so great. I love how she can simplify things. She's a fellow type 7. And so she's making all these connections, but she was able to really simplify human design so that I didn't get scared away on my first touch point. But then I started getting into it. And let me tell you, it is so complicated. But I highly, highly recommend that you go through it at least once and discover what your human design is because it is so thorough. And I believe that I am going to be studying my human design for a while. There is so much. And when I say so much, I'm talking about 4 or 5 types. And I know Kristen shared 5, but if you Google it, some people say that there are 4 types, but there's also 12 profiles. There are 64 gates and 30-something channels and 6 lines and authorities and centers and
planetary influences and incarnation crosses. I'm not really sure what that is. And variables. And I'm telling you, there is just so much. But I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. Now, one of the websites that Kristen shared with us is myhumandesign.com. And I do recommend that. I also recommend mybodygraph.com. They give a little bit different information, and both websites will let you do more than one graph. So if you're using it in your business, you'll be able to put all your clients in there. The first website does have an app and can really, really personalize the interpretation for you. The second one is a little bit more interactive. And so I tend to go to that one first just because the interactivity of it. That is mybodygraph.com. But myhumandesign.com does actually give more information around your incarnation crosses and your variables and some of the more advanced things. There is just so much to unpack with human design. But I've had a ton of fun. I actually slotted for this episode to air later because I had so much to dig into that I didn't really want to do a bite-sized deep dive without doing the deep dive myself and trying to figure out what bite sizes I could actually share without overwhelming you. But there's so much that I have unboxed about my personality, about my Enneagram type, about how I'm using personality in my business. So many aha moments, so many tweaks that I have done just in the last couple of months since talking with Kristen. And that's what we're going to get started with in part 2 of this bite-sized deep dive. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and reviewing the Unbox Your Personality podcast. To learn more about yourself, go to powercoachjen.com. Find out how you are different so you can make your difference.